What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. And yeah, you can see on the Rotten Tomatoes right now, we're starting to get some early reviews for The Flash, sitting at 72% on the tomato meter. Well, wait a minute. I thought this thing was going to be the greatest superhero film in the history of all superhero films. Isn't that what we've been hearing over the last few months? You know, David Zaslav said it. James Gunn said it. He said he saw it. Oh my God, it just blew me away. Everybody was saying that this film is going to be the greatest superhero film ever made, and it's sitting at a 72% after the critics are done. Now listen, 72% is not a terrible score. I'm not pretending that it is, all right? But I knew there was no way that this thing was going to live up to the hype, all right? Because the hype was just too much. You saw it from everybody. Everybody was talking about how great this film was. And I don't understand why, because to me, Ezra Miller is just not a good Barry Allen. He's just not a good Flash. I don't buy him as the character. So it never really worked for me in any of his little appearances, whether it be Justice League or he shows up here and there. I just never have bought this guy as the Flash. So I was never really on board with this being the greatest superhero film. I thought it probably could be good. You know, it's like, okay, it's going to be good. But just because he's in it, and then he shows up twice, and he's kind of annoying. I mean, he's just kind of an annoying person as Barry Allen. I just have never dug this character. So yeah, this doesn't surprise me whatsoever. And then what's even worse, we check out what the top critics say. Oh, the top critics. The top critics are saying this thing is rotten. This thing is rotten to the core. Ain't fresh, ain't rotten. They ain't feeling this. I mean, again, I don't remember seeing this with The Dark Knight. I don't remember seeing this with Superman, the movie, much less. All right. Everybody knew what the best superhero films, because to me, that's 1A and 1B. All right. Dark Knight, Superman, the movie. Whatever way you want to look at it, okay? I also like, the Captain America, Winter Soldier. I think that that's up there, top three, maybe with those two right behind, and then Avengers Infinity War. Let me get a top five. Probably Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, those would be my top five. I knew this thing wasn't going to come anywhere close to those films. No chance in hell was this going to come anywhere close to those films. So yeah, this score right here with the top critics, even the all critics, doesn't surprise me whatsoever. And we can see right now it's sitting at 71 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Once again, that's still kind of early. This is probably going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 reviews before it's all said and done. So we still don't know how the critics and the audiences are going to feel overall, obviously. But we do know that this thing is not tracking well whatsoever in the box office. And this is on the direct. The Flash movie can't outrun DC's failures at the box office. Let's go ahead and read and see what they got to say. After recent DC films' lackluster trips to the box office, it looks like The Flash may be doomed for a similar fate. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, to date has grossed just $133.4 million worldwide, the lowest in DCEU history. Man, some movies get this in their opening weekend. Not even worldwide, domestically. And that's all these cats made worldwide. Man, that's gotta hurt. That rocky start for DC comes off of a messy Black Adam release in November of 2022. The film ultimately grossed $391.3 million worldwide, but conflicting reports, even from Dwayne Johnson himself, put into question whether the film was profitable or not for the studio. Nah, bro, look, it was not profitable. This thing was not profitable. You can try to spin it all you want to, all right? We're not going to go down that road, though. We're not going to go down the road of, well, we're going to talk about how much it's going to make on streaming. And, we got the DVD sales. Don't forget the DVD sales, and then we'll get those red box rentals. And, when we start counting our pennies and adding it, like, stop. Just stop, okay? We're not doing that, all right? Total spend. Budget plus marketing times 2. That's what we get to the break-even number. And if you're on either side of that, that's how we know whether or not you made money. Period. End of story. Okay? Let's knock all of this crap off talking about, oh, well, we got to count every last red box rental that we got out of this thing to see if this movie was profitable. It's ridiculous. A Hollywood Reporter revealed that The Flash is tracking for an underwhelming $70 million domestic opening weekend. Yeah, that's a bad number right there, y'all. $70 million, that ain't nothing. This thing should be coming somewhere close to $100 million in the box office. So if all you're able to get out of this for your opening weekend is $70 million, that's an L. That's a giant L, and this thing is probably going to lose money. That would come in considerably under the $93 million that Justice League earned, a film that disappointed fans and pundits worldwide. Yeah, I mean, if they can't make at least this amount, It's a wrap. I think this thing is dead. Listen, I already called it. I'm not sure if you guys thought this, but I said the moment that they said the word reboot, when James Gunn announced that whole God and Monsters Chapter 1, and none of this stuff was going to be a part of it, it was going to be a reboot. Listen, we automatically knew that this thing was doomed. It was absolutely doomed. It was going to be a flop. Look, as nostalgic as people might be for Michael Keaton's Batman, that was never going to be enough. Never going to be enough. Not by a long shot. And I think what happened is Warner Brothers and David Zaslav and all the media shills, they thought this was going to be another Spider-Man No Way Home. Not even close to that. They were counting on Michael Keaton being some sort of a selling point for this movie. Because, you know, hey, we got Michael Keaton, just like you guys had the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans. Well, we got Michael Keaton's Batman, and then we're going to throw Ben Affleck's Batman in here, and then we're going to have this person and that person. Oh, it's going to be amazing. You guys go out and say, like, and people were like, it's not the same. It's not the same. You can't use Michael Keaton as a selling point for your film. This film had to be something people wanted to see, regardless of Michael Keaton being in it or not. That was like the whole thing. Like, people still wanted to see a third Spider-Man film. Who wants to see The Flash? And then throwing Michael Keaton like in every trailer, like that was going to make a difference. You remember Sony was doing the same thing with Morbius? They kept putting Michael Keaton in every trailer, throwing him in all the trailers. He's not even in the damn movie, but they kept putting him in the trailer because they were trying to drag your ass into the theaters. And that's not the way it works. You got to make a movie that we care about. Nobody wanted to see this guy as the Flash, period. Look, never mind the fact that this cat was running around the country, messing around, getting in all kind of criminal activities, okay? You know, just all kinds of charges coming out from Hawaii all the way to Vermont, all right? Dude was like a supervillain out there, just committing crimes all over the country. Hey, man, we can't find this dude. He's taking a young girl. What do we do? I mean, it was straight up a real criminal adventure like this dude was running on. And forget that for a minute. Nobody wanted to see this dude as the Flash. It's not like this guy was a beloved Flash. Oh, it's just like Henry Cavill's Superman to us with the Flash. People wanted the dude from the television show to take its place. There were all kind of Twitter campaigns. Hey, replace this dude with Grant Gustin. Get him out of here. That's what everybody was saying. Nah, nobody wants to see this movie. Nobody wants to see him in the movie. And again, a movie like The Flash, honestly, it only works if you have a working DCEU. And you don't, okay? You need a working cinematic universe. Then you can bring in a movie like The Flash and have that kind of fit, okay? Oh yeah, this is interesting. Let's check it out. Nobody's coming to see this. It's like nobody would go and see an Ant-Man movie. I'm not saying that The Flash is not a big hero, okay? But nobody would go see some of these secondary movies if they don't have a cinematic universe to go along with it. You just got to understand it, unless it's the greatest movie of all time, which apparently this isn't. The moment James Gunn said reboot, the cinematic universe was dead and nobody was coming to see any of these movies. I said it. Shazam was going to flop. Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman. All of them are going to flop. All of them will flop. I've already said that. All right, and we'll be here at the end of the year to see if I'm right. But I'm telling you, there is no chance in the world that these movies was going to be successful after they rebooted it. On the contrary, Box Office Pro's latest tracking has Andy Muschietti's first superhero flick earning between $115 to $140 million during its opening weekend. I don't know when they wrote this, but this number has absolutely been updated. As you can see, this is Box Office Pro, right? It kind of goes through all of these films, okay? But you can see the date, June 2nd, 2023. Here it is, June 16, The Flash, $85 million to $120 million. All right? Down 8% from the last tracking update. So, yeah, I think this thing is going to lose a lot of money. And they say it's going to track somewhere between $208 million to $332 for their total domestic. That's down 1%. This thing keeps dropping. We'll check and see where it's at next week, right before the movie comes out. But I have a feeling it's going to drop some more. Nobody is checking for this film. That's a significant discrepancy between the two outlets. Hell yeah, it is. Which should be concerning for Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav. Father's Day weekend should bring in a lot of audience members, which the studio likely expects. This is especially true considering the overwhelming praise the film has gotten from the likes of Tom Cruise, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn, calling it probably one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. Yeah, these guys right here. I don't know if Tom is just towing the company line. I know James Gunn is. I mean, you know, again, they're saying it's probably one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. And listen, you can't always listen to the critics, but let's just go and hear what they had to say about it. Ezra Miller turns out to be every bit as on the spectrum manic, antsy, and impulsive as you would expect. Yeah, see, I'm not into that. Manic and antsy and impulsive. That's not the Flash that I'm used to. Okay. Again, people are saying the Grant Gustin Flash is a little bit better, and I kind of agree. A little flashy for a summer blockbuster film, but overall, the Flash is quirky, quick-witted, emotional, and relatable with his own twist on the DC multiverse. Yeah. Again, like, 2.5 out of 4, 6 out of 10. Like, this is what the people that like the movie are getting it. They're not even thrilled about it. They're just saying, it's okay. It's a little bit better than what I guess. Ezra Miller is definitely an acquired taste as the lead character. But perhaps most troubling of all is how much more interesting the older Batman character, Michael Keaton, and the new Supergirl character are in support. Yeah, splat. And, note, and he says it correctly. He's an acquired taste. He's not a lead character. I definitely don't like this Flash version. I don't. And it's like, I don't know how many people are in love with this guy as the Flash, and there's 2 of them in this movie, and it's his movie. I just think that's going to drag this film down. People are really not feeling this whatsoever. And it's funny, look at this. This guy gave it a 2.5 out of 4, and he gave it a splat. This guy gave it a 2.5 out of 4, and he gave it to me. Who understands this shit? Falling victim of its own thematic mantra, the Flash refuses to let go of the past, instead allowing it to define what it has become in the present. In other words, a hodgepodge of former glories with no clear identity of its own. Yeah, again, this is kind of what I expected. The Flash is a fun and adventurous film that brings a lot of nostalgia and DC goodness into the fold, and Michael Keaton as Batman is definitely the highlight of the film. Okay. This guy says, The Flash is a satisfying superhero experience complete with epic scale, heartfelt emotion, a backdoor origin story, and a few issues along the way. While the core conceit of Warner Brothers Discovery's The Flash is solid, the movie's 2 meta nostalgia plays highlight everything that's gone awry with the studio's superhero movie experience. Yeah, I think if it's getting too meta, okay, that's going to be just a death nail in this thing. If this thing is trying to get overly meta and then playing on the nostalgia as well, again, I don't know why anybody would want to go and watch this film unless you are a diehard DC fan like myself. But to the general audience, and again, that's who you need to attract. You're going to get comic book fans in the theaters, but can you get the general audience? People are just wandering, oh yeah, let's go check out The Flash. Yeah, this might be fun. Can you get those butts in seats? Because the comic book fans more than likely will show up. A lot won't, obviously. Some people are just done with the DC. They'll wait until James Gunn reboots it and they'll see what that is. But I don't think this thing is going to do well. The reviews are negative. It's tracking poorly for a reason. We'll see what happens. But anyway, folks, what do y'all think about this? The Flash getting off to a shaky start just on the reviews. Again, positive mostly. All right, nothing wrong with that. But then you look at the tracking, and then it's not the greatest superhero movie, at least not to these critics. You have to wonder, how are the fans going to take it? How's the general audience going to take it? Are people going to be willing to throw down and go out and see Ezra Miller as the Flash? Did anybody like him to begin with? I just think that this movie, unfortunately, was never going to make money, especially after you said the word reboot. This thing was a done deal. But you guys go ahead, jump down in the comments, give me your thoughts and your opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.